KKHT wants you to meet three of the classiest guys in real estate.
I am Chris Kelso, the maestro of mortgage.
I am Rob Cook, the godfather of real estate.
And I'm Joe Orsack, the king of credit swing. And together, we're the Real Estate Rat Pack. Much like us, real estate right now is smoking hot. So whether it's buying, selling, or owning, you need to check out the Real Estate Rat Pack.
They're here to take your calls and answer your questions live. Call now, 1-800-808-5548. And now, the Real Estate Rat Pack.
Good morning. Boy, we have a packed house today.
Holy cow.
With us today are some representatives of the TRLP, and they will tell you what TRLP is. We've got Tom Gallagher in the room, Ray Wade, Lauren Fries, and Chance Brown. Welcome.
Thank you.
As well. Thank you. So, Wade, let's start with you. Let's talk about what TRLP is and what it means.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob. Happy to be here. Well, TRLP stands for the Texas Realtors Leadership Program. It is put on every year by the Texas Association of Realtors in conjunction with local boards. And in our case, that's the Houston Association of Realtors. They're very intense training where future leaders of the association are put through about a 9-month training with some of the best minds.
Kind of like a pregnancy.
A little bit. Some of the best minds in the business.
Without the pain.
Well, except for spokesperson training day, but we'll talk about that, anyway. But we're happy to be a part of that class this year, 2013, and each year we do a legacy project. And Chance.
Well, we're going to pass that over to Chance Brown, who's here. So talk about what your legacy program, and reach out to the people out there and tell them what you want them to know about it and what you need.
Well, our legacy program this year is to take the lessons we've learned over the last 5 years of a down housing market and pass them on to future generations so that they'll be better prepared financially to weather the storm in the future. The program we're doing is putting Dave Ramsey's principles of personal finance into local area high schools to give basic financial education to high school kids as they enter the real world. And what we are looking for, we're running an adopt-a-school program, so we're looking for sponsors to come out and sponsor their local high schools.
Tell me what that sponsorship looks like.
The sponsorship is $2,500. That's going to provide all the class materials, the workbooks, and everything the kids need to get this education. In return, the sponsor gets advertising on Dave Ramsey's website. They get mentions in all of our press and PR materials that go out, and the workbooks that go home with the kids are all branded with their logo.
Excellent. And Lauren, you have anything to add to that?
It's a great project to educate our youth and our high school students about credit and buying a home and just going into college, because they'll get swamped with credit cards and all these opportunities. And a lot of people do not have this education in their homes because their parents don't even know about this, or they don't understand financial literacy. So this is a great opportunity for a company to provide education to many students. So
the people that benefit would be companies who want these people as their future patrons. I mean, like a home building company or mortgage company that would say, you know what, we want to teach them how to be responsible so I can do business with you at a later date.
Yes, it would be just not in the real estate industry, but even people in auto sales, anything that you have to buy, just, auto sales, beauty salons, anything, they can come and sponsor this program. So it's just not limited to the real estate industry.
Well, I tell everybody is financial literacy is extremely important. One of the things I've always gotten on my soapbox about is the fact is, what is a good age to start teaching somebody about financial responsibility? Any age is a good age, Right. And so I teach my daughter and my son at this age from counting pennies and dimes and quarters and how to save things and how to balance a checkbook. And it seems sometimes extreme, but guess what? It actually ends up working. And one of the things that we have to do is, in fact, there was a study that came out here recently that said the foundation of any modern society starts with education, and financial education is what is needed the most right now, because most of the time we're going through high school and we're not taught how to live life on a day-to-day basis from that
Absolutely. And there was a ING study that came out a couple of years ago that said 78% of parents would rather talk to their kids about sex and drugs than talk to them about money.
Wow.
It's a big void that needs to be filled.
No, I would absolutely agree. It's a big void. Well, how can we reach out? How can we reach you if we want to get more information on this?
You can call any one of us, or call HAR. My personal phone number, Chance Brown, is 281-380-7631. I'd be glad to set you up. Reach out to HAR.
That's great. Well, that's great.
They can always just reach out to the Real Estate Rat Pack on
too.
Facebook, and we will get them in touch with.
I think we ought to go ahead and post that on our website as well. I
Yeah,
think that'd
we'll
be nice.
have it up there.
We'll definitely have it up there. Well, thank you all very much for coming in
Thank you.
today, letting us know a little bit about that. Again, that's the Texas Realtors Leadership Program. And definitely get in touch with them. Rob, I pronounced it correctly that time.
You did wonderfully.
I did wonderfully well.
I make note of that all the time.
Well, one of the things that we're doing on this show is actually this show has a theme today, and it's actually the seniors, the real estate senior show. And
It
so
is.
one of the things that we're actually going to be doing is we're actually really talking about what we have some really good guests in regards to seniors.
I have a charity event that I need to mention today as well.
Absolutely.
Which is going to be fun with the weather, but a good friend of mine, Kay Harville, is a part of this group, and I wanted to promote this. We're always a big fans of promoting charity events here on the show, and they have a really, really fantastic group that they're benefiting, the Wounded Warriors program. There is a car show, if you can imagine all that going on today, out in Conroe at the West Conroe Baptist Church on Loop 336 out there. And the cars are starting to show up at 9:30, and motorcycles as well. Those are coming in at 11:30. So make sure you guys go out, see the cars out there, and support that organization. Obviously, Wounded Warriors is a fantastic program, and we definitely want to give them some press. So I wanted to mention that.
Well, thank you very much. In the house today, we have Kim Hegwood, who is the Hegwood and Associates PC. It's an attorney who works with the elderly. Welcome.
Hi.
So let me ask you this question. This is probably, I don't know the process. Somebody comes to you, they have either elderly parents or they're elderly themselves, and they said, I'm on a plan to provide for my family. What's the first step we're going to do?
The first thing that we look at when clients come in, we look at their income and assets. Because depending on what their income is, depending on what their assets are and where they're located, whether it's retirement, whether it's just money they've saved, whether it's overpaying a life insurance policy, you look at the entire financial picture in order to give them a good plan.
Okay. Well, I've heard it when you mentioned like the insurance and overpaying things like that. I've heard of, I had an insurance person who was telling me about I think it was a 1035 exchange where actually you can get monies now. Like if you had $1 million policy and you're 85 years old, they might buy that policy from you for a factor, like $600,000 or $700,000. Have you ever worked with those types of programs?
Actually, I have a client that does.
Okay.
That's what he does. He works with a group that's what they do.
And so when in doing that, that actually provides some cash now that they can use or invest or distribute rather than wait to their demise, in which case typically at that time it gets thrown into an estate.
Correct.
Okay. And so when you're setting up these estates and stuff like that, what are you actually working to do? Are you just so they can provide or look out for paying taxes or talk about what you do?
Most of the time we're looking at just really meeting client goals. What's the client want? What are they looking to do?
I want to live forever. How can we work that out?
That I can't help them with. But for the most part, you're looking to, because every client's different. Every financial picture is different with each client. Most of them, by the time they come to my office, they're looking to put a plan in place. A lot of them are looking for asset protection because they missed the long-term care goal. As far as getting that, or they don't qualify, or they've gone too far, and it's just cost is just astronomical at their age. So we're looking for preservation of assets. How are we going to pass our legacy to the next generation? How do we want them to get it? We have a lot of parents that are providing a lot of extra things for their kids because their kids are not real good with money.
Which is why we need that TRLP program.
Right.
Yeah, they're just issues. Could be divorce, could be addiction. I mean, there's a lot of things that come into play with families. So their goal is just to really try to put them together, the plan that really works for them and gives them what they want.
What's the most misunderstood thing about what you do?
Probably that when you do an estate plan, it's not just something you do once and never do again. I think that is what most people, it's amazing the number of people that come into my office and they've done it once and they're like, I have to amend it. I have to change it. And so one of the huge things that we really encourage people to do is update their power of attorneys. I can't tell you how critical that is in this day and time, because most financial institutes, they fight you to take a power of attorney. So you want to make sure that the power of attorney you have is very current. With our clients, we update them every year for them to make sure they've got good, up-to-date, ready to go documents all the time, because it makes their agents that are using them easier for them to be able to do that.
And that was what I wanted to ask you, because one of the things I hear a lot, it actually comes about a lot, is that there's different types of power of attorneys out there. You have a medical power of attorney, you have, real estate-based power of attorney, you have different powers of attorney, and sometimes individuals get confused as to why you might want to have a different power of attorney or a broad and sweeping power of attorney. Can you go over some of maybe the little types that exist out there, and what are some of the most common?
Well, the two power of attorneys that you need to have in life, because ironically enough, they prevent guardianships down the road, so you want to make sure you have them. You have a medical power of attorney that says, if I can't make medical decisions, who's going to make them for me? That's predominantly what it does. But a lot of people have medical power of attorneys out there that have no HIPAA language, and they don't have that extra HIPAA document that says, okay, agent, you can look at my medical records. So that way, if there's anything going on with the person, you want to make sure that your agent has the right to do that. Right. The other one is your statutory durable power of attorney. And that one is a very powerful document. So we caution clients very carefully about picking that agent. I tell parents, it's got to be the kid that is the best with their money, no credit issues. If they're good with their money, they'll be good with yours. You never want to give somebody a powerful document that can't handle their
Correct.
own, issues. When you have that power of attorney, your statutory durable power of attorney, you can set it up so that it's effective immediately, or you can set it up it's effective upon incapacity or disability. In that case, if you choose the latter, you have to have two doctors to put in writing that, that the person is incapacitated in order for it to be effective. Sometimes trying to get two doctors in this day and age to put anything in writing can prove to be difficult. So
Absolutely.
it's a little harder to use, when you use that, but not impossible, depending on whether the person sees a regular physician and all those kind of things that come into play and that knows them well.
Do you see that, one of the topics we have on the show on a regular basis is what you don't know can hurt you. You don't know what you don't know. What do you think is the most common issue? I know in the credit industry and helping people repair their credit, there's just some behaviors that are typical that people do that they are completely unaware that are damaging to them on the credit side. Are there behaviors out there? Do you have clients that come to you with issues that you would love to see? Hey, if they just knew this, I would have less clients, but I'd be helping a lot of people if they knew this.
A lot of times it's just getting your plan. So you want to make sure that it's there. Education is important. We do a lot of education. We do a lot of free seminars. We go out to the public as much as we can, because if you educate someone, they're going to be a much powerful consumer. I'll tell clients, if you just have these two documents, you don't need something else. So we want to make sure that, that they have the things that are going to be the most effective for them.
Gotcha.
Because that's going to be crucial.
Well,
we all took a breath and then stared at you.
And one of the things I was going to ask really fast also, and we see this, you mentioned, when you're doing these power of attorneys to make sure you have an individual who's generally financially responsible, et cetera. One of the things, and Jason mentioned this one time, is that one of the things in his area is the number one decision maker is generally the eldest female, believe it or not. And so one of the things I was going to ask you is, do you see a certain prototype of an individual? Is generally speaking also for the senior care that you're putting in place? Is it generally the eldest child, or is it more gender related? Have you seen anything like that?
Women typically are your caregivers.
Okay.
Normally, what we see predominantly, I should say. It's usually the kid that's the closest to them that the parents tend to choose. A lot of them still have, I need to choose the oldest one because they're the oldest and they're going to be upset. But we try to really caution them and talk to the kids. And I'll sit down and talk to children as well. Here's why we're making these decisions. It has nothing to do with you personally. It may be that we want someone closer to mom and dad. We want somebody that's going to be there, somebody that's very involved, that's predominantly doing it anyway, because that's crucial. You want the best person for the job. It doesn't matter if they're male, female, oldest, youngest. Ironically enough, a lot of our caregivers, the women typical caregivers, are usually the younger kids and not necessarily the oldest.
That is so amazing. We are coming up against time right now and against a break. That is Kimberly Hegwood with Hegwood and Associates. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
And that's a recipe for making love. If you've made it right, you'll know it. It's not like anything.